I used to be a nurse at Crestwood Hospital, a place of healing and hope. But that all changed when a dark shadow cast its pall over the hospital and the night shifts became a nightmare. It started innocently enough. I was new to the hospital, fresh out of nursing school, eager to make a difference. I was assigned to the night shift, a time when the hospital transformed into a different world. The hallways were dimly lit, and the silence was broken only by the soft hum of machines. My first few nights were uneventful, filled with routine tasks and the occasional check on patients. But then came the whispers. It was as if the very walls held secrets that spilled into the stillness of the night. At first, I thought it was my imagination, a byproduct of the fatigue that often accompanies night shifts. But then I began to hear her voice, a mournful cry that seemed to emanate from the empty rooms. "Help me," she would plead, her voice carrying a weight of sorrow that sent shivers down my spine. I tried to dismiss it, but the whispers grew louder, more insistent. One night, as I was checking on a patient in room 207, I caught a glimpse of movement out of the corner of my eye. I turned, but there was no one there, just a fleeting shadow that seemed to vanish into thin air. As the nights passed, the encounters became more frequent. Patients in room 207 would speak of a presence in the room, a figure that stood at the foot of their beds, its eyes filled with rage and anguish. Some claimed to have seen the figure in the mirror, a distorted reflection that bore a chilling resemblance to the person lying in the bed. I couldn't shake the feeling that something was terribly wrong. I began to dig into the history of room 207, and that's when I uncovered the chilling truth. A nurse named Emily had been brutally murdered in that room years ago. Her life had been stolen from her in a senseless act of violence, and her spirit seemed to be trapped, unable to find peace. Armed with this knowledge, I delved deeper, determined to help Emily find the justice and closure she deserved. I sought out old records, spoke to staff members who had been at the hospital for decades, and pieced together the fragments of her tragic story. Emily had been a dedicated nurse, known for her compassion and kindness. She had dreams of making a difference in the world, of easing the suffering of those in her care. But her life was cut short, her dreams shattered by a brutal act that left her spirit restless and vengeful. With each passing night, I could feel Emily's presence growing stronger. The air in room 207 grew colder, and the whispers became more urgent. It was as if she was reaching out to me, imploring me to help her find the justice that had eluded her. I enlisted the help of a local paranormal investigator, someone who had experience in dealing with restless spirits. Together, we conducted a seance in room 207, hoping to communicate with Emily and uncover the truth behind her murder. The room was charged with energy as we sat in a circle, candles flickering in the darkness. I closed my eyes, my heart pounding as I whispered, "Emily, if you're here, show us a sign." A gust of cold wind swept through the room, and a mournful wail filled the air. The temperature dropped dramatically, and I could sense Emily's presence growing stronger. It was as if the very walls were resonating with her pain and anger. And then, a voice, soft and filled with sorrow, spoke through me. "He took everything from me. He must pay." The room seemed to tremble as Emily's story unfolded. She had been betrayed by someone she trusted, someone who had taken advantage of her kindness and then silenced her forever. As the seance came to an end, a sense of determination settled over me. Emily's spirit deserved justice, and I was determined to make sure she got it. With the help of the investigator, we unearthed evidence that had been buried for years, evidence that pointed to Emily's murderer. The truth came to light, and justice was finally served. Emily's restless spirit began to fade, her vengeful presence replaced by a sense of peace. The hospital, once shrouded in darkness, began to heal, and the whispers that had plagued the night shifts grew quieter. I left Crestwood Hospital, forever changed by the experience. The echoes of Emily's story would forever remain with me, a reminder that even in the darkest of times, justice and redemption can prevail. And as I walked away, I couldn't help but feel a sense of closure, a knowing that Emily's spirit could finally rest in peace.